But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster.
You're listening to the Breadwinner Energy Podcast with your host, Tay Daniels. Tay started her business 10 years ago with $100, wrecked credit at 7 months pregnant. Today, she scaled 2 multi-six-figure businesses and runs a global empire helping Black sheep women turn their ashes into intellectual property and their wounds into wealth. Tune in every week for raw, unedited episodes on becoming a wealthy woman, thought leader, and empire builder. Learn how lived experience becomes power, purpose, and your wealth empire. Welcome to Breadwinner Energy. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Breadwinner Energy Podcast. It has felt like years since I've recorded an episode, but it hasn't been that long. But things in my life have changed pretty drastically. If you've been tuning in every week, then you know that we just moved to a new city. We are in our new home. We are fully unpacked, and it feels crazy. It feels crazy to be in a new location. It feels crazy to be in this new home. It happened all very, very quickly. We moved and fully unpacked in one weekend. And within my first 6 days of living in this home, the entire house was completely unpacked. We found new doctors, which has been so cool. We found doctors that are an all-female staff. You pay out of pocket, but they do a mix of Western medicine plus holistic care, and for your entire family. I hired a bookkeeper slash accountant. I sent a cease and desist to someone, and my attorney is actively handling another infringement on our trademark. And I announced a new direction that my business is going, opened the wait list. We have over 17 people already on that list. The list goes on. All of that has happened in 6 days of living here. And my mind is blown. I feel like I have totally entered. I got in my car that day to drive here, packed up me and the kids. My husband stayed with the movers while they got the rest of the truck packed up. Me and my kids got to the new house early. That was like the portal drive to my new home. And since then, my quantum leap is moving so quickly. It's scary. So quickly, I feel like I can't even keep up with all the things that are happening and moving so fast. Oh, and I got a new bank. I completely changed banks. I am going with a smaller business-specific bank because a lot of things are happening for my business. And they're really exciting, but it has pushed me in this new way to grow up really quickly, to step into new periods of leadership. Last fall, I hinted multiple times at this thing happening in my business. And while I didn't know when it would launch, because there is a lot that goes into doing something that I'm doing, I announced that this would be coming in 2026. And again, I didn't have specific timing because I didn't know what it would all take. And I knew that our legal team would need to be involved in this new direction. And it's not just as simple as launching an offer. It's not just as simple as creating something new. And I officially was able to announce that last week. And so I'm going to give you guys the rundown here on the podcast. And I'm so excited. I feel just it's one of those things which I feel like it's almost like you can't explain it. It's like something you experience, right? And it's one of those things that I'm experiencing in real time. And it's kind of this like, it's the right direction. And it's really scary because you can feel that it's the right direction. And you know that once you open this door, there's no going back. And once you open that door publicly, you have to walk through it. And it's almost like that mixed with like one step at a time. I'm taking one step at a time as we are building and doing and putting all the pieces in place while also being like, holy shit, we're doing this. And it is wild, so wild to experience in real time. And I had my first meeting last week with the bookkeeper slash accountant that I hired, who was taking care of all of our booking, all our bookkeeping, finances, tracking money, expenses, and having this conversation out loud with her, my team, my legal team. It's just like, we're really doing this. Like, we are really doing this. Last week, we officially got our contract completed for licensing, and that is what is being launched. So Breadwinner Energy, up until this point, my trademarked brand and company, has been all about my personal brand. It has been about me becoming a breadwinner and helping other women become breadwinners. And last fall, as my grandma was passing, this idea, it was before my grandma was passing, as she was passing, and during that period, and that time period is kind of all ran together. But during that time period, this idea had manifested, and it was an idea that actually had manifested earlier in 2025, but it was almost like one of those things where you're like, that would be cool in the future. It's almost like not a pipe dream per se, but it's almost like that would be a really cool extension of a future business idea. It didn't dawn on me that this would be like a more near future until last fall, when things had happened and transpired in my business. And then it was like, oh, we're really doing this. And then we announced it to the public. And so this new era of Breadwinner Energy is bigger than me. It is not only the legacy that I am building and creating, it is something that I want to outlast me, you, and to pass on to generations after us. The mission was built on my own story. And after years and years and years of business and coaching and entrepreneurship, thousands of women, we've talked to each other, we've changed lives, we've worked together, collaborated together, I've coached you, and I helped you become the breadwinner of your own life, whether that's just through listening to my podcast, whether it's through changing the way that you see yourself and think about yourself, whether it's the way that you've built your business and made money, helping women have resources to something they didn't have resources before. And the more I help women, the more I would talk to women, the more a lot of us have very similar stories. As a woman, you've been silenced in some way or another. You've built your life from ashes in one way or another. You've been through divorce or poverty or abuse. The list goes on. And what I have realized is I'm a woman who's experiencing this myself. I'm a woman who's raising two daughters, and I'm also a woman who is a thought leader and what I would like to call an influencer, for lack of better terms, to a lot of other women while I'm building this brand. And as I'm thinking more about this, I'm thinking that I can only coach so many of you, and I can only give so much time and energy to so many of you. And I can only give you so much of what I know, right? Because I don't know everything. But together, all of us together have tons of magic and resources and connections and abilities that the others of us don't have. For some of you, you're really good at finance. For some of you, real estate and the housing market and credit is your jam. For some of you, it's like beauty, health, wellness, fitness, mindset, energy work, Reiki work. Like the list goes on and on and on. And as I was reflecting over my years of business and entrepreneurship, over reflecting my years of motherhood, I've been a mom now for 9 years, and I have 2 children, and I've been in entrepreneurship for 10 years, and I've been married twice, and I've had mystery chronic illness / pain that I'm literally have a doctor's appointment again for in a couple weeks for imaging, and I'm so excited. But the point is, over all of these years, I've collected my own resources. I've collected my own knowledge. I've collected my own information and my own community. And I've collected collaboration partners. And I've met so many other women with so many other things to give that it's taking me years to know these things. Like, to know about women's health, right? To learn about birth, to learn about motherhood, to learn about how to take care of myself, energetics, healing, like the list goes on, but I've spent a lot of time doing that. And what if, as a collective, we were all working together to build wealth? We are all working together to be not only the first breadwinner of your bloodline, to change the way you think about yourself, the way you identify yourself, the way you show up, change as a leader, and also gift your magic and your resources and your knowledge to other women. And that was what led me to doing licensing. And licensing is where you become licensed under Breadwinner Energy. You use our trademarks, you use our name, our methodology, our mission, our vision, our values, and you build your business under that. You don't have to come up with your own brand where you have to trademark it. You literally can use the name Breadwinner Energy that we have trademarked, that we have a legal team for, that we have fought for. I can't even tell you now how many infringements on this fucking brand, how many people have infringed. And we're literally going through another legal case as we speak on infringement. That takes so much time and energy. It is such a drain. But I know that I was born to build this. I was born for this mission, this movement, and I want to be able to share it. I want to be able to gift it to so many other women. And I know that alone I can only change so many lives, but together we can change a collective. We get to change the world, our communities, the people that we're in touch with, our friends, our family, our clients, our kids, and all the generations that come after us. And it starts with us. It starts with us. And so licensing is where you come and be certified in using our name, our mission, our vision, our values, and what we stand for and what we uphold, and how to build your own brand under the name. You get to keep 100% of your revenue. You get to be your own creative under the brand. You get to decide. Do you help women become the breadwinner through real estate, through finance, through services, through creative work? Literally, it doesn't matter. Coaching, services, however you vision it. Dinner parties, motherhood parties, get-togethers, retreats, in person, online, it doesn't matter. Physical products, we have everything trademarked, whether it's physical or online services. We trademarked both, so you can do either one. And it's a brand that's already built. And then you get the alumni mastermind where we're together collaborating. Our company is going to hire women straight out of this directory. You will be listed on our public directory on our website to be hired. So when women come looking for resources, you're going to be the one that's listed on the directory if you're licensed with us, where people can hire you. You're going to be the ones that we promote. We're going to ask that, you collab with us and you come on our podcast and we share what you're building under Breadwinner Energy and what your magic is and what your gifts are. And I am so excited to be able to hopefully be a small slice of bringing leadership, land, ownership back to women, resources back to women, wealth back to women. Because right now, more than ever in the world, that is what we need. Because the matriarchy is not the opposite of the patriarchy. Women are literally born to lead. Women are changing lives. And what better time than now to be a woman who decides you're not going to just talk about change, you're going to actually do something about it. Building a brand and building a business and a movement and traction takes time. It takes time, it takes money, it takes resources, it takes community, it takes knowing people. But when we do it together, we build faster. When we build faster, we make more money collectively. When we have more money, we have more freedom, we have more choices, we have more sovereignty, we have more energy, we have more healing for ourselves and for the world. And that is what we're doing. And I am just so excited to be able to bring this, because I'm not seeing other people do this in the industry where they're building up a big brand and then licensing others to use it and creating a brand that is not just a movement of self, it is a collaborative movement of change. I'm not seeing that in the industry. And so I am excited to bring it to the industry. I shared recently on social media a couple things. Number one is that we have split my Instagram. My Breadwinner Energy headquarters Instagram is going to be the Instagram social page that you follow to learn more about licensing, to learn more about our programs, our headquarters, being a part of the licensing pilot, being a part of our alumni and spreading the mission and being a part of the mission, as well as showcasing other women. We're going to be showcasing women on here who go through certification, their magic, their gifts, and really highlighting resources and how we're collaborating with people on that page, where my It's Tay Daniels _LLC Instagram is going to be my personal brand, where I share more behind the scenes of being a founder, being a breadwinner, my own life, what I've experienced. And so follow both pages for both of that. But I also shared recently is that right now in the world is on fire. And being in business 10 years and watching the world be on fire over and over and over. Politics, fires, COVID, ICE. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's been that way my entire career. And I'm watching so many women in a couple pools. One of those pools is the women that hide. They're in fear, they're stressed the fuck out, and they're burnt out, and they're exhausted. And so they completely ghost social media, they ghost their business, they don't show up. And then we've got women who are totally outraged, reposting every single post on social media. That outrage ends, a new political outrage begins, and then they jump on that bandwagon and the next bandwagon, the next bandwagon. And while they're just collectively sharing outrage and anger and fear, they're not changing their life or others. They're just reposting stuff on social media. And then you've got the collective in the middle that is trying to stay on social media, promote their business, but then are also being shamed. You shouldn't be selling. You shouldn't be doing. And it's the opposite of what we should be doing. The longer we're pissed at each other, the longer we're fighting each other, the longer we're mad, the longer we're highly fucking emotional, the more they win. They, as in the patriarchy, the government, the shadow government, and when I say the government, I mean both fucking sides. They are equally in bed together. They drive the same plane. They just have different roles that feed different pieces to keep us in control, in fear, and in lack. And if you don't see that, this will not be the brand for you, because again, the more we're fighting each other, the more we're just in these outrage fucking cycles, the more we're distracted from the mission and the vision of actual change. And so what I posted was, instead of posting and sharing your outrage on social media, which is not going to change the world, and being outraged and being devastated and being disgusted and being loud are all valid emotions that I totally understand. But if you are screaming into the void about being seen and protected and cared for and hoping that that's going to change, I can tell you right now, number one, it doesn't. Men don't even respond to emotion in general. Men don't give a flying fuck about our emotional outrage. They've been avoidant to it their whole life. But the system itself was built on women's pain. The system is built not to respond to it. It's to profit off of it, dismiss it, medically gaslight it, to police it, to keep you manageable, to keep you quiet, to keep you in fear, to keep you controlled, to keep you seen and not heard. And I'm not playing that fucking game anymore. And I really genuinely hope that you don't want to either, because we are in a moment, and we've been in this moment for a long time, but now more than ever, we are in a moment where we have the most perfect opportunity to create actual change as women, to stop playing their fucking game, to stop playing the game of the system that was literally built against you, and to use what we have that they don't. Intuition, gifts, our ability to hold empathy and space, our ability to have logic and emotion and to balance those two. And I'm not saying that men don't have that ability, but it's not the ability that they practice, and it's not the ability that they have that they get rewarded for. But we as women do. And instead of playing their game and matching their rage and their ego and their anger, you have to stop crying out on the internet for attention and start leading. Real leadership, not being triggered and posting 12 stories on the internet and calling it fucking activism. Actual leadership. Because I am done letting the outside world turn my inner world into disease. I'm a woman who's lived in chronic pain for years, and the only thing any doctor can tell me, it's emotional. It's stress. It's from being in survival. It's trauma. And I could list about 100 women with the same symptoms that no doctor can tell them, or the doctor tells you what? It's fibroids, it's endometriosis, it's some hormonal issue. You know why? Because you're stressed, because you're in survival, because you're taking care of everyone and everything and not yourself. Women leading the world is the new direction. This is what Breadwinner Energy has stood for years. And it starts with, how do you lead yourself when the world is on fire? How do you lead your internal world? Because we don't change the world by being a victim to it, even when we are. Even when we're being victimized, even when you've been through hell, that's not how we change the world. And I know, because I've shared on here a million times what I've been through. I've shared my life, my mystery chronic pain for years, mental health battles, OCD, PTSD, ADHD, autism. I've shared about being sexually assaulted as a child, losing my father to suicide, physical abuse from multiple relationships, romantic partners, starting in high school, poverty, food stamps, lack of education, no degree. I have shared all of it on this channel. I know pain, I know fear, I know survival, and I know anger. But I also know that's not how we win. I know what it's like to be told, shut up, be pretty, don't be difficult, don't be too loud, don't be too much, and also be more. Be more, give more, do more. Women are constantly under fucking scrutiny, and it's never enough. Stop playing the game. So here's what I'm doing about it, because I'm not just going to talk about it, and I don't want you guys to just talk about it. We have to do something. Change comes from actually doing the thing. Number one, I'm a Libra rising. I'm literally built for standards. I'm built for balance. This is what my life has been built on, number one. Number two, I'm a Taurus 8th house. And so I don't do surface level bullshit. I do transformation, death and rebirth, let it die so it's not running your life anymore. And right now, that is our assignment, death and rebirth. The old world order is collapsing. Stop feeding into the cycles. Every time you feed the outrage cycles, it continues. I'm going to give you guys this from two perspectives. I've been thinking about this so much lately. Okay. I come from a family of avoidance, and almost every relationship I've been in has been with an avoidant. Okay. I'm anxious avoidant, disorganized attachment that came from my upbringing of chaos and avoidance. Why does this matter? This matters because I am very emotional. I feel feelings to the point of physical pain. And I have realized as an adult and many years of therapy that being overly emotional, highly emotional, and sharing my emotions from a place of heightened emotion, anger, rage, almost like lashing out or being very highly emotional to be in full-blown panic tears, I have never, ever won a battle that way. Never. I've gotten avoided, ignored every single time. And it felt like shit, right? I was literally crying out for help and being avoided from childhood to adulthood. Now, I'm going to give you another perspective. My oldest child is neurodivergent, and we have been getting her to be seen by a specialist for what that is, right? And it's hard because in the United States, they don't recognize certain things like PDA, which is a profile of autism, and they call it ODD, which is basically a defiance disorder. And you have to learn how to communicate to your neurodivergent child and their way of communicating in order for them to do anything that you're asking or for them to listen. And through all of these things, I have learned that the way that you show up and the way that you communicate will absolutely determine the outcome in every relationship. Now, as I'm watching the world do what it does constantly, the government do what they do constantly, and the way that people react on social media constantly, all I keep seeing are these same cycles: mass hysteria, fear, outrage. Then we forget and we move on to the next topic and the next topic and the next topic. And you know what happens? Nothing. Nothing changes. You just keep feeding the cycle. And they keep avoiding you because you're taking the bait. You're taking the bait. Okay. My oldest daughter, who we're just going to call it PDA/ODD, which is a defiance disorder. Okay. She has what we call loops. She gets in these loops, and her number one goal in the loop is to argue, because arguing gives her control and arguing gives her attention. Is it negative? Yes. But does it feed her cycle so she feels like she's winning? Yes. And so I've had to learn as a mother with anxious avoidant attachment who was avoided as a child, how to avoid the actual loop in behavior that she's giving me, to see beyond that and what she actually needs to be able to help regulate her. I give you guys these different perspectives because I want you to look at what's going on in the world from those lenses of they're wanting you to feed the loop even when it's negative. That's how they win. That's how they keep you distracted. That's how they keep you sick. Because if you're in fear and you're so highly emotional and paralyzed by actual fucking fear that you can't do anything, that your logical brain is completely gone and all you have is your emotional brain to work out of, and you can't make logical decisions, guess what happens? You don't do things to change the world. You don't create movements. You don't create wealth. You don't change your life. You don't change generations, and you don't change communities. You stay in fear and you stay sick because those emotions feed autoimmune disorders like endometriosis. And that is what is not being shared with women, because the entire goal of what has been created in the patriarchy is to keep women fucking quiet. You know why? Because women are powerful. Women have intuition. They have magic. They have gifts. Women are psychic. Women have healing abilities. So what did they do? They build churches and schools to keep women quiet and poor and playing the game of the system. No, I'm not fucking doing it. I refuse. And if you also refuse and you want to be a woman who makes change, who stops leading with full emotion and no logic, who is so far in survival and fear and sickness but you know you want to change yourself and you want to change the world and the lives around you, stop crying about it on social media and actually do something about it. And that is why I created this era of breadwinner energy. If you're actually outraged, be a part of the change. Regulate your body, clean up your relationships, clean up your relationship with yourself, fix your contract, tighten your boundaries. Stop bleeding your power into people who benefit from you being fucking dysregulated. Stop bleeding your power by giving it away to everyone else. Your partner, if you are married to a man, your partner's job is not to save you. Stop waiting for men to save you. We have spent our whole lives being told that men are they're the protectors and the safe. But guess what? If we didn't have them, who would we need to be protected from? Exactly. Women are the protectors. Women are the leaders, and women should be the breadwinners. And that is what this mission is. Because when women are finally internally led, you're not easy to be controlled. You can't be controlled when you are internally led. So that's why I'm creating Breadwinner Energy as the movement, where we create breadwinner women. Inside and out, we clean up your mindset, your energy, your leadership. You become sovereign, self-led, powerful, wealthy women. And then we go out and then we go change our communities and offer resources and magic and healing and knowledge. And we feed the cycle together. But you cannot do that until you are in a place to lead yourself. And you cannot lead a movement and a community and a collective when you are so emotionally outraged that your logical brain has left the chat. You can't. If you're not leading yourself, you cannot lead others. And that is why I have Breadwinner Energy Academy. That's where we start. In Breadwinner Energy Academy, you take control of your inner world. You shed your victim mentality, even when you are or have been the victim. You become the kind of woman who can lead with standards and wealth and power, even when the world around you is burning. And then you can decide, do you come and license under Breadwinner Energy? Do you come uphold the mission together and create other women breadwinners? And share your magic. We all collaborate together. We mastermind together. We hire each other. We collaborate and we go out in the world and share it. And we take charge and start healing the world together. That is what my direction of my new business is. And every time I talk about it, I want to cry because the world needs this. Women need this. And I hope and pray every day that this is the small piece of change for my children. And I would love to invite you to be a part of it. If you need to clean up your inner world, if you need to stop being a victim to your life, your circumstances, what you've been through, if you need to stop being a victim to the relationships around you, this is where you start. Breadwinner Energy Academy enrollment is open. We are changing the payment plan. January 31st, 2026 is the last day that you can get the 12-month payment plan. After that, it's 2 payments of 1,222, and it's 30 days apart. So this is when this enrollment opens. February 11th is the cutoff. And if you join between now and February 11th, you will get access to a live ritual that I'm putting together called Let It Burn. Let it fucking burn. The old versions of you, where you've come from, the relationships, the people, the places, every single thing that needs to burn from your life is going to, so that you can be sovereign, you can be self-led, and you can be wealthy as fuck. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. I love you all. I will chat with you on the next video.